Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This time we're going deep on startups and leadership with Ben Horowitz's book, The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Great choice.
We got some excerpts you guys sent in, and I'm really excited to dive into this one, especially to work toward that 10-point summary by the end of our deep dive.
Yeah, it's a classic for a reason, right? Horowitz, he really gets into the nitty-gritty. He doesn't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah, it's raw.
It's honest.
It's from experience.
Yeah. Yeah, and he does it all, with these great stories, like the one about being dared to spit on another kid for his wagon when he was a kid.
All right, so let's start there. It's a pretty intense story for a leadership book, but I think it really sets the stage for understanding Horowitz's mindset.
Yeah, it shows how, right from the start, he's willing to kind of challenge conventions, face his fears head on. Instead of following through on the dare, he takes a completely different approach, and it ends up sparking a lifelong friendship.
Yeah.
It's a powerful lesson in, finding your own path, not being afraid to defy expectations.
It's like, a microcosm of his approach to leadership, right?
Exactly.
Thinking outside the box, not taking the easy route, and turning a potentially negative situation into something positive.
And this theme of challenging the status quo, continues, as he navigates different social circles, like joining the Berkeley High School football team, despite growing up in a town where, football wasn't exactly celebrated. He wasn't a natural athlete, but he was drawn to the challenge and the opportunity to, push himself beyond his comfort zone.
Yeah, and he had this, incredible coach, Coach Mendoza, who gave these, wild, intense speeches. Totally unconventional.
Yeah.
It seems like that experience really left a mark on him.
It did. Coach Mendoza's approach was a great example of how, leadership isn't always about polish and perfection. It's about connecting with people in authentic ways, even if it's through, sheer passion and intensity.
Mm-hmm.
Horowitz learned that leadership can take many forms, and sometimes the most effective leaders are the ones who, break the mold.
And this idea of seeing things from multiple perspectives also comes up when he talks about, moving between different social groups in high school, navigating between the football team and the academic crowd.
That's a crucial point. He realized early on that people from different backgrounds can have radically different interpretations of the same events.
Right.
And this ability to, understand and synthesize diverse viewpoints, it's essential for any leader, especially in the, the fast-paced, ever-changing world of startups.
So we see these early experiences shaping his approach to leadership. But there's also this, recurring theme of balancing ambition with personal life. He talks about leaving, a promising career at Silicon Graphics because he felt like he was missing out on time with his family.
Right.
Right.
This is, a struggle that many driven individuals can relate to. It's so easy to get caught up in the pursuit of success, and forget what truly matters. Horowitz's decision to prioritize his family, even at the expense of his career, it's a powerful reminder that sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that, require us to step back and reassess our priorities.
And this theme comes up again later on when his daughter has a serious health scare during the Loudcloud IPO roadshow.
Right.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
Having to balance a personal crisis with this make or break moment for his company.
It's a heart-wrenching story that highlights the immense weight of leadership decisions, even amidst personal turmoil, right? And it reveals, his unwavering commitment to his company's success, but also underscores the importance of having a strong support system.
Okay, so we've seen how his upbringing and early experiences shaped his approach to leadership. Now let's, move into his time at Netscape, during the dot-com boom. This was a period of, incredible innovation and growth, but also intense competition.
Yeah, Netscape was at the forefront of this, this revolution, and Horowitz had a front row seat to the action.
Mm-hmm.
He joined the company as a product manager and, quickly found himself in the midst of the browser wars with Microsoft.
It was a David versus Goliath battle.
Yeah.
And Microsoft was using its, its dominance in operating systems to try to crush Netscape.
It forced Horowitz to, to think strategically and find creative ways to compete.
Hmm.
He spearheaded the development of Netscape's Sweet Spot. That was a suite of server products designed to, challenge Microsoft's dominance.
It was a bold move. It demonstrated his ability to adapt to a rapidly changing market and come up with these innovative solutions.
It also highlights the importance of resilience and resourcefulness, particularly when you're facing, a dominant competitor.
But even with, their innovative products and brilliant strategy, Netscape couldn't escape the dot-com crash.
Right.
It's a reminder that even the most promising companies
Yeah.
can be vulnerable to these, external forces.
The dot-com crash is a stark reminder that market forces can impact, even the most successful companies, right?
Hmm.
And it's a lesson in the importance of adaptability and the need to, constantly reevaluate your strategy in light of changing circumstances.
So Netscape may not have had the fairy tale ending, but the lessons learned there clearly influenced his approach when he co-founded Loudcloud.
Absolutely. With Loudcloud, Horowitz faced even greater challenges, including, near bankruptcies, layoffs, and these skeptical investors, right? It was a trial by fire that, forced him to develop an entirely new set of leadership skills.
And those skills were put to the test, during the dot-com crash.
Yeah.
Loudcloud was on the brink of collapse, and Horowitz had to navigate the company through these incredibly turbulent waters.
It was during this period that he truly honed his crisis management skills, and learned to make these high-stakes decisions under intense pressure.
Mm-hmm.
His story during this time is a masterclass in resilience, determination, and the ability to lead through adversity.
And it's in these, moments of crisis that,
Yeah.
some of his more unconventional leadership principles kind of emerge.
Exactly. He challenges conventional wisdom. He offers practical, battle-tested advice based on his own experiences, He emphasizes the importance of transparency, even, when delivering bad news. And he provides, a framework for making tough decisions like layoffs and firing executives, but doing it with empathy and clarity.
He also emphasizes the importance of people, products, and profits in that order.
Right.
It's a simple but powerful framework that really emphasizes the human element of building a successful company.
He believes that, creating a positive and supportive work environment, where employees feel valued and respected, that's essential for long-term success.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from his unconventional upbringing to his, roller coaster ride at Netscape and the challenges of leading Loudcloud through a crisis.
Yeah. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve deeper into some of his more unconventional leadership wisdom. We'll be exploring his principles for building a strong company culture, making tough decisions, and navigating the complexities of the startup world.
Sounds good. Let's take a quick pause here. We'll be right back to continue our exploration of Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
So, last time we left off talking about Ben Horowitz's, emphasis on creating a positive work environment.
Yeah.
And now I think, let's unpack some more of those, unconventional leadership insights.
Okay.
Particularly his views on transparency and making tough decisions.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in his approach to, transparency, especially when it comes to delivering bad news.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big advocate for, telling it like it is, no sugarcoating.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, he argues that CEOs often feel this pressure to project, an overly optimistic facade,
Right.
kind of shield their employees from the harsh realities of the business.
Mm.
But he learned through experience that this approach can really backfire.
Oh, interesting.
In fact, he found that employees are often more resilient than leaders give them credit for.
Oh, okay.
While he was losing sleep over missed targets or setbacks, his engineers would often just, take the news in stride and get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And this realization was pivotal for him.
Yeah.
He understood that, honesty, even when it's tough to hear, is ultimately, more effective than putting on a brave face and pretending that everything's fine.
So honesty, even when it's difficult, actually builds trust in the long run.
Exactly.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
It kind of, challenges the conventional wisdom of, always focusing on the positive.
Mm-hmm.
But how does this, radical transparency, how does that play out in situations like, layoffs, which are unfortunately, pretty common in the startup world.
Yeah, Horowitz offers a really, powerful framework for handling layoffs, in a humane and ethical way.
Mm.
He stresses that, the key is to take full responsibility,
Yeah.
make it clear that the company failed to meet its goals and that the layoffs are a necessary consequence, not a reflection of, individual performance.
So it's about owning the failure as a leader.
Exactly. And this ownership is crucial for maintaining trust and respect, even in the midst of this, difficult situation.
Yeah.
And he also advises CEOs to be, direct and clear with the employees being let go, providing detailed explanations and support during the transition.
No beating around the bush.
Right. It's about treating people with respect, even in, challenging circumstances.
Mm.
He even goes so far as to provide like a, step-by-step guide on how to conduct a layoff meeting,
Wow.
which I found, incredibly valuable.
It's that kind of, practical advice grounded in real world experience that makes his book, so impactful.
Right.
And he doesn't shy away from, other tough topics either, like firing executives or demoting, loyal friends.
Absolutely. He provides a framework for approaching these situations with clarity and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, when firing an executive, he emphasizes the importance of, understanding the root cause of the performance issues,
Right.
not just, placing blame.
So it's about identifying, the underlying issues and finding the best path forward for both the company and the individual.
Precisely. And when it comes to demoting a friend, he highlights the importance of, honesty, transparency,
Mm-hmm.
and finding alternative roles within the company that better utilize their skills.
It seems like, his overall philosophy is to address these, difficult situations head on with empathy and a focus on finding solutions.
Yes, and he balances this focus on navigating tough decisions with a strong emphasis on building, a positive company culture.
Right. We talked earlier about his, belief in prioritizing people, products, and profits
Yeah.
in that order.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
He firmly believes that, building a great company starts with creating an environment where people feel valued, challenged, and inspired to, to do their best work. And this includes, open communication, investing in employee development, and fostering a culture of trust and respect.
He provides some really specific examples of how to build this kind of culture, like encouraging one-on-one meetings and creating processes that promote, transparency and accountability.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Those practical examples are what make his insights so actionable.
Yeah.
He doesn't just talk about these concepts. He shows you how to implement them in real-world settings.
And he also has some interesting ideas about the kind of ambition you should look for when building your team.
Yes, he stresses the importance of hiring for what he calls ambition for the company's success, with the executive's own success only coming as a byproduct of the company's victory.
Wow. In other words, he seeks individuals who are driven by a collective goal, not just, personal gain.
So it's not about individual ambition, but a shared ambition for the company's success.
Exactly. He believes that this team-first mentality is crucial for building a cohesive and high-performing organization. And he also provides, practical tips for identifying this quality during the interview process, like paying attention to how candidates describe their past experiences and accomplishments.
It sounds like he's advocating for, a more collaborative and less ego-driven approach to building a company.
Absolutely. He believes that fostering a culture of collaboration and shared success is far more effective than promoting, individual ambition at the expense of the team.
This emphasis on process also seems to be a key part of his leadership philosophy.
Yes, he sees process as a form of communication. By establishing, clear processes for decision making, performance evaluations, and other key areas, he ensures that everyone is on the same page and that the company, operates efficiently.
It's about creating a system that that scales as the company grows,
right?
Which is especially important in the fast-paced world of startups.
Exactly, and he provides a ton of practical examples of how to design, effective processes for for different aspects of the business. It's not just theoretical, he gives you the blueprints for building a well-oiled machine.
So he emphasizes transparency, making tough decisions with empathy, building a strong company culture, hiring for the right kind of ambition, and establishing clear processes.
Yeah,
That's a lot to unpack.
it is.
And there's still so much more to explore in his book.
There is. In the next part, we'll delve into his insights on managing expectations, embracing uncertainty, and navigating the critical decision of whether to sell your company. All of this will contribute to our 10-point summary that will capture the essence of his leadership philosophy.
Sounds like we have a lot more to discuss.
We do.
Let's continue our exploration of Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Yeah.
After a quick break. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things, unearthing some truly insightful leadership principles along the way, ready to continue our journey towards our 10-point summary.
Absolutely. There's still so much to unpack, particularly his insights on managing expectations, embracing uncertainty, and navigating that pivotal decision of whether to sell your company.
Let's start with managing expectations.
Yeah.
This seems like a critical skill for any leader, especially in a fast-paced environment like a startup.
Horowitz highlights the importance of managing expectations on two fronts, for your employees and for yourself.
Okay.
He cautions against making premature judgments about an employee's potential, particularly as a company scales and roles evolve.
So avoid pigeonholing people based on their current performance.
Exactly. He advocates for, providing opportunities for growth and development, evaluating performance based on, the current demands of the role. It's about fostering a culture of continuous learning and giving people the chance to prove themselves as the company evolves.
That's a more dynamic approach to, talent management, recognizing that people's capabilities can change and expand over time.
Right.
What about managing expectations for yourself as a leader?
He acknowledges that CEOs often feel this, this immense pressure to have all the answers. But he encourages leaders to embrace vulnerability, It's okay to admit when you don't know something.
So it's not about projecting an image of always being in control.
He sees leadership as a journey of constant learning and adaptation. It's about embracing the unknown, being willing to learn from mistakes and continuously striving to improve.
Yeah.
And this ties into his broader point about embracing uncertainty, which is a fundamental part of the startup experience.
The ability to make decisions with incomplete information.
Exactly. He argues that this is, one of the defining characteristics of a great leader. You rarely have all the data in the startup world.
Yeah.
And the difference between, being mediocre and extraordinary, it often hinges on your willingness to take these calculated risks.
It's about trusting your instincts, making the best call you can with the information you have and being adaptable enough to change course if necessary.
Right.
He calls this rolling a hard six.
Yeah.
Taking a chance, even when the odds might not be in your favor.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And he also introduces the concept of, peacetime CEO versus wartime CEO,
Right.
a framework that highlights the need for different leadership styles, depending on the circumstances.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So in peacetime, the focus is on building a sustainable business, scaling operations, and fostering a positive company culture. But in wartime, when a company faces an existential threat,
Right.
a different set of skills is required. The wartime CEO needs to be, decisive, even ruthless at times,
Yeah.
making tough calls that might be unpopular, but essential for survival.
He gives a powerful example of this from his time at Loudcloud during the .com crash.
Yeah.
He had to make incredibly difficult decisions, including layoffs,
Right.
to save the company.
It highlights the reality that leadership isn't always about, being liked.
Right.
It's about doing what's necessary to achieve the mission, even when it's painful. And this, this wartime mentality can permeate the entire company culture. Everyone understands the urgency and is willing to make sacrifices for for the greater good.
It's about creating, a shared sense of purpose and resilience in the face of adversity.
Right.
Now let's talk about the ultimate decision for any startup founder, whether to sell your company.
Mm-hmm.
This is a topic that Horowitz explores, with a lot of nuance and personal experience.
He breaks down the decision-making process into two dimensions, the logical and the emotional. So logically, it's about assessing the market size and your company's potential to be the dominant player.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe you're in a massive market and have a shot at being number one, staying independent might be the best path.
He uses Google as an example, right?
Exactly.
They received, significant acquisition offers early on, but ultimately decided to stay independent because their market potential was so vast.
Precisely. However, he also cautions against overestimating your market or your company's ability to execute.
Mm-hmm.
He points to Pointcast, a company that received similar offers, but failed to capitalize on its early momentum and ultimately, sold for a fraction of its previous valuation.
It's a reminder that, market dynamics can shift rapidly, and it's crucial to have a, realistic assessment of your company's position and potential.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's not just about the numbers, right?
There's also the emotional side, which can be even more complex. Founders have poured their heart and soul into building their company. And, selling can feel like a betrayal, even if it makes financial sense.
And the pressure to achieve, financial security for themselves and their families can also be, a powerful motivator. But it can really cloud their judgment.
Horowitz offers some valuable advice for navigating these emotions. He emphasizes the importance of, ensuring the CEO is receiving a market rate salary so that financial needs don't drive the decision.
Right.
Transparency with employees and investors is crucial, as is finding ways to detach your ego from the decision-making process.
So it's about focusing on what's best for the company and its stakeholders, not just your personal ambitions.
Exactly. It's a challenging decision with no easy answers. But by carefully considering both, the logical and emotional factors involved, founders can make a more, informed and balanced choice.
Now let's talk about, the final chapter where Horowitz shares his his journey in starting Andreessen Horowitz, a venture capital firm that takes a unique approach to supporting founders.
This chapter is fascinating because it shows how he applied his own experiences as a founder to create a firm specifically designed to help other founders succeed.
Mm-hmm.
He recognized that many founders, particularly those from technical backgrounds, often lack the business acumen and network that experienced CEOs typically possess.
So they set out to fill that gap.
Exactly. They focused on two key areas, helping founders develop, essential CEO skills and building a robust network of connections and resources that founders could tap into. They even drew inspiration from the Hollywood talent agency model.
Creating a firm-wide grid of contacts and expertise that could be leveraged to support their portfolio companies.
It's a testament to his commitment to paying it forward and empowering, the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And I think his book as a whole, is an incredible gift to anyone who aspires to build something great.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the journey is rarely smooth, filled with setbacks and tough decisions. But with the right mindset, a dedicated team, and a healthy dose of resilience, extraordinary things are possible.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, exploring the key themes and insights from The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
We have.
Now, for the final piece of the puzzle, let's put together that 10-point summary you mentioned at the beginning.
Okay.
What are the core principles that that listeners can take away from this book and apply to their own leadership journey? That's a great challenge.
Yeah.
Here's my attempt at capturing the essence of Ben Horowitz's leadership wisdom in 10 key points.
Right.
Number 1, embrace challenges. Don't shy away from difficult situations. Be willing to confront your fears, think differently, and forge your own path. Number two, seek multiple perspectives. Understand that people from diverse backgrounds will interpret the same events differently. Develop the ability to synthesize various viewpoints to gain a more comprehensive understanding. Number three, balance ambition with personal life. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of success, but remember to prioritize what truly matters, including your family and well-being. Number four, lead with transparency. Be honest and upfront with your team, even when delivering bad news. Transparency builds trust and strengthens relationships, even in challenging circumstances. Number five, make tough decisions with empathy. Layoffs, firing, emotions are difficult, but sometimes necessary. Approach these situations with clarity, compassion, and a focus on supporting those affected. Number six, build a people-first culture. Prioritize creating a positive and supportive work environment where employees feel valued, respected, and challenged to grow. Number seven, hire for collective ambition. Seek individuals who are motivated by the company's success, not just personal gain. Cultivate a team-first mentality that prioritizes collaboration and shared goals. Number eight, establish clear processes. Develop and implement well-defined processes for key areas like decision-making, performance evaluations, and promotions. Clear processes improve communication, efficiency, and scalability. Number nine, embrace uncertainty and calculated risks. Get comfortable making decisions with incomplete information. Develop the ability to trust your instincts, take calculated risks, and be flexible enough to, adjust course as needed. And number 10, embrace continuous learning. Recognize that leadership is a journey, not a destination. Be open to feedback, acknowledge your mistakes, and commit to constant improvement.
That's a fantastic summary. Ben Horowitz's book offers a wealth of practical wisdom for navigating the complexities of the startup world and leading with resilience and integrity.
Yeah.
His experiences and insights are a valuable resource for anyone who aspires to build something meaningful and make a positive impact.
Absolutely. His story is a reminder that leadership is not about having all the answers, but about embracing the challenges, learning from experiences and continuously striving to be better.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the hard thing about hard things. Hopefully, our listeners feel well-equipped to tackle their own leadership challenges, armed with Ben Horowitz's hard-won wisdom. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing forward.